Subjunctive mood usage for wishes and hypotheticals. Hello and welcome back to another helpful grammar video on Grammar with Altaf. In today's video, we're going to explore a unique and sometimes confusing topic in English grammar, the subjunctive mood. Specifically, we'll focus on how we use the subjunctive mood to express wishes and hypothetical situations.
Yes, Annie. The subjunctive mood isn't used very often in everyday speech, but it's very important to understand, especially when you're expressing things that are not real, things you wish were true, or situations that are only imaginary or contrary to fact.
Exactly. Let's begin by understanding what the subjunctive mood actually is. The subjunctive mood is used to talk about situations that are not reality. These could be dreams, hopes, demands, suggestions, or hypothetical situations. It's not about facts. It's about what could be, what we wish were, or what someone recommends.
That's right. And one common use of the subjunctive is to express a wish. For example, if I say, "I wish I were taller," I'm using the subjunctive mood. Notice that I said "I were," not "I was," even though normally we say "I was" in the past tense.
Yes, that's one of the key signs of the subjunctive. In subjunctive sentences, especially with the verb to be, we often use were instead of was, no matter what the subject is. So even if we say he were, she were, or it were, it's grammatically correct in this mood because we're not talking about reality.
Here are a few more examples to make it clear. I wish it were sunny today. She wishes she were rich. We wish we were on vacation. In all of these examples, we're expressing a desire about something that isn't true right now. It's imagined. That's why we use were, not was.
Now let's look at another usage, expressing hypotheticals. This is when we talk about situations that are imagined, not real. For instance, if I were a bird, I would fly across the ocean. I'm clearly not a bird, but I'm imagining a scenario.
Another great example. If he were the president, he would lower taxes. Again, he is not the president. This is only a hypothetical idea. So we use were instead of was because this is not a real situation.
This use of the subjunctive mood often comes with if clauses. These are very common when we talk about impossible or unlikely situations. So you'll often hear people say, "if I were you." And that's a perfect example of the subjunctive.
Let's break it down a little more. Think of the sentence. If I were you, I would apologize. This doesn't mean I am you. I'm giving advice based on an imagined or hypothetical situation. In that case, were is used instead of was.
And the subjunctive mood also appears in formal suggestions or demands. For example, I suggest that he go to the doctor. It is important that she be here on time. In these cases, we use the base form of the verb, like go or be, even after he or she.
That's true. So let's summarize the rules. Use were instead of was after I, he, she, or it when expressing a wish or something hypothetical. Use the base verb form after verbs like suggest, recommend, or demand. These structures don't reflect real events. They reflect imagination, hope, advice, or regret.
Let's go back and give a few quick examples of wishes. I wish I were younger. She wishes she were at home. They wish they were in Paris. These are all expressing desires that are not currently true.
And for hypotheticals, if I were rich, I would buy a big house. If she were the boss, things would be different. If they were in charge, the company would grow faster. Again, we're using where because none of these situations are real. They are imagined.
Now let's give a few examples of formal suggestions using the subjunctive. I suggest that he study harder. They recommended that she take the day off. It's essential that he be present at the meeting. In each case, you can see that we don't conjugate the verb the usual way. He study, she take, he be. This is all correct in the subjunctive mood.
Many learners get confused because these structures don't follow the normal subject-verb agreement rules. But remember, the subjunctive mood doesn't work like the indicative mood. It has its own patterns because it deals with unreality.
Another thing to remember is that the subjunctive mood is more common in formal or written English, though we still use it in everyday expressions like, I wish I were, or if I were you.
Yes, and although many native speakers do say, if I was, instead of if I were, especially in casual speech, it's still considered more grammatically correct to use were in hypothetical or wishful expressions.
So, to our viewers, whenever you're expressing something that is not true or not real, like a wish, a dream, or a suggestion, the subjunctive mood is probably the right choice. It helps you speak more accurately and sound more natural.
Let's wrap up with one more review. Use were instead of was for wishes and hypotheticals. Use the base verb form for formal suggestions and requirements. Remember, subjunctive mood, act imagination, not reality.
That brings us to the end of today's grammar lesson. We've learned how the subjunctive mood works, especially when used for wishes and hypotheticals.
We hope you now feel more confident in identifying and using the subjunctive mood correctly. Don't forget to practice with your own examples and keep improving your grammar with us.
Thanks for watching Grammar with Altaf. Stay tuned for more useful grammar lessons. Bye for now.
Take care and keep learning. See you in the next video.